close to full, the cart will head off to the farm silo and dump what's on board. I think that's the biggest thing we're probably missing when it comes to workers in Farming Simulator at the moment. Okay, you're good. You're starting from the first waypoint, so that's fine. Let's get back in the tractor and collect some more bales. Or make some more bales, should I say. Oh, actually, I'm going to get to the next bale done, and I think we're going to jump over to the Renault and... 99, go, thank you. Renault. It's the Renault. Hold on. Oh. Let's position the camera in the right direction. I'll be able to see what it's doing. Awesome. So, tedder first. Which one's the tedder? Is the little orange thing. Oh, actually, now there's the thought. So we've got 231,000 in the bank. That's really nice. However, it occurs to me that we're doing contracts, and the contracts are going to pay us a ton of money. That New Holland is going to be in the store for another day, maybe day and a half. So potentially I could use the proceeds from the contracts to buy the New Holland. Don't know where I'm going to put it. I do not have any space in anywhere. But it just occurs to me that I could buy the New Holland and have that as a larger alternative. Larger alternative to the Renault, so it could do the heavier jobs, things like rolling and what have you. It should still be fairly cheap to run, and go away. And it's not going to cost me any out of pocket, or much seriously out of pocket. I mean, I think it was, what, 67,000? I might upgrade the engine, makes it 84,000, and maybe add some of the extras on it, which might add 1,000 or two. I think it's set up as a US format, so I would need some EU tags on it and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I don't use the Deutz a lot, but that's flagged up with narrow tyres and crop sensors, so it's really, its primary job is to fertilise all the fields and stuff like that. Okay, gonna head along here. Get those bits. And we're nearly done with the baling here. That's good. And as I said, I think we'll finish this contract and then get on with the next thing. There's a lot of bales over here. Bale convention. Looks like there's enough room for me to turn through here and get the last row. Oh yeah, as far as model railway stuff goes. So I watched an episode, one of the modelers I watch, he was invited to one of the manufacturer's offices to see some early releases of some of the models they're going to be producing within the next 12, I think probably safe to say 12 to 14 months. So some of them were just rough plastic models, so they could review the detail and correct anything that was wrong. So it was an initial 3D print, it wasn't a final version, and the plastic used was reds and greens and yellows and just all sorts of garish colours, which is fine. They had a couple of early releases with the motor functions installed, so you could actually run them. Although it's a little bit odd seeing what's supposed to be a green locomotive running around in horrible shades of red. But yeah, it gives an idea of what it looks like and how it runs. Hi, and then there are a couple of finished examples which were motorised, painted up, final approval models before the production run started. But during the video he informed us that this particular company pretty much produces to order, manufactures to order. So they'll come up with an idea, they'll spec it all up, so actually creating the CAD designs and the initial 3D prints and everything else, it's the same cost regardless of how many eventually get ordered. But once they announce it, they also announce an order closing date. And if you want the model, you need to pre-order it before that closing date. Because if you don't, you might not get it. And what they do is they take all the customers who order on the manufacturer side. And the manufacturer tends to charge more for the model than retailers. Retailers will offer it at a discount. And there's a reason for that. Manufacturers like retailers to stay in business. So they might say, yes, this model is going to cost, or we're going to sell this at £180. And then most of the retailers will then say, okay, we're going to sell it at 17% discount on that. So if you want it cheap, you can go to a retailer. If you want it as soon as it's released, you go to the manufacturer and pay a little bit more. So you can place a pre-order on the manufacturer's site. The manufacturer basically adds up all of the sort of the general public pre-orders. It then takes orders from all of its partners in retail, so all of the retail outlets it supplies. It will ask, how many do you want? Now obviously some of those will also have pre-orders. So I'm ordering mine from a retail store, and so they're going to say, yes, we got 5 people pre-order, plus we'd like to have 3 on the shelf. So they'll place a pre-order for 8, for example. And so the manufacturer will take all of those pre-orders as well, and it will make that many. So if you're lucky, when it comes out and you didn't pre-order, your model shop of choice may have an on-the-shelf model, but it may not. But it means that the manufacturer can keep their margins really tight because they know that between our pre-orders and our retail customer or our retail outlet orders, we need to make 200 of this model. And so that's exactly what they make. No more, no less. They might make a few more just in case, but they're pretty much down to this is what we're going to produce. But it means that they're then selling these things. Their sales are very cheap and very high quality compared with the manufacturers who've been around since the 1970s. These guys have better quality models and generally 20 to 30 bucks cheaper than the old main manufacturers. So the likes of Hornby and Bachmann have serious competition, especially since the likes of Hornby and Bachmann are selling stuff 30 to 40 pounds more per model. And the engineering samples were produced 7-8 years ago. So most people look at them and say, well, you already recovered your research and development on this model. Why are you charging £20 more than you did the first time it came out? Because the stuff, the materials that go into it haven't increased that much in price, and your competitors are selling better quality for significantly less. I mean, one example I've got a rake of 7 mainline express passenger cars, and they cost about £60 each. And they have nicely detailed insides. They're good quality models. They run well. And I've now got on order a rake of 6 suburban cars, which cost retail £6 more than those express cars, mainline express cars cost. Are better quality. You take the roof off and you look inside, and there are luggage racks inside, which I don't think the old mainline ones just have representations of seats so that you can stick some passengers inside. Well, that's nice. But these ones, they have, if you look through the windows, you can actually see luggage racks and lighting. So it has a full LED lighting rig with appropriate resistors and capacitors, and a DCC socket so that you can actually put a DCC chip in there and use a DCC controller to tell it when you want the lights on and off. And the old passenger cars I got, like I said, $60 each, and don't have any lights or any significant detail. And these new guys, it's sort of for $5 more, I can now buy a passenger car that has lights and finer detail. So it's difficult. The problem is with these smaller guys is, as I said, you have to buy it when they produce it, or you have to order it when they announce it, and you're going to get it when it arrives at their head office, distribution centre, and you're going to have to wait 12 months before it's available. And if you don't order it when they announce it, then you're looking at a good chance that it's going to you're not going to get it. Now, I'm not looking at a large railway. I want a representation of vehicles on the track. So I'm not, it's not like, oh, I need one of each locomotive, or I need 5 of that locomotive because they were, common on the area I'm modelling. It's, I need a couple of general purpose locomotives. They don't have to be the same class. I need one long distance passenger express locomotive. I need a few tank engine switchers for Americans to work the yards, or the yard. But I don't need 20 switchers. I need 1 or 2. I might eventually include a branch line, which means, okay, I need a couple of switchers to work the branch. Okay, where are we going with this? Do we know? Has anyone said? So we are here, make silage bales, take the bales to exports. That's handy. So yeah, I've got a list of locomotives I would like to have. Great demand at bales market. But I'm not really looking for everything that comes out, and I'm only looking for a specific model line. I'm not looking for everything that's released. I mean, some people that just buy everything. I'm not into that, so I want specific models. I want specific freight cars, I want specific passenger cars. One example, there's a branch line passenger set. Unfortunately, the one for the era that I want has name boards on the side of it, so it's basically modelling a branch line in the south of England, and that's not where my model is representing. So that one's no good, and the other one, or the other pair, is from the 1920s, and so that's a little bit early for me. So I'm not going to buy any this release. The other thing is because they do small directed releases, they will bring out a rerun on a model. Typically the reruns are even cheaper because the research and development already happened, so all they're paying for is the materials. And in that vein, there's a general traffic locomotive that's been released, and it's the second run. And so they've done a little bit more work on the detail. How do I get this off? Oh, I need the help text again. So we go unload bales. And down, and Y. And Y again. Good grief. Okay, so the contract's done. Yay. And we got £13,000 on the excess. So that's good. But yeah, so I'm thinking. Unfortunately, I missed the pre-order on that, so I'm taking my luck. Are they going to have any left in stock? but apparently holding on. The original release had a very fast gearbox. So the locomotives, their general traffic, they're sort of local passenger and or small freight. So they're not the sort of thing that travels around at 80 miles an hour most of the time. And so a little bit of a problem there with its original release, because it did have a stupidly fast gearbox, which meant slow operation, moving freight cars in a yard. It wasn't particularly good at. Well, the new one, they've changed the gearing on it, so it's now far more realistic top speed and far more torque, low speed torque. So it is extremely good at moving freight around yards and stuff like that. So I kind of looked at it and thought, I kind of want one of those. And unfortunately, I'm not sure how long the stores will have them in stock. Although I think a lot of people bought the first release, and so it is what it is. Okay, that one. We'll swing round for that one. Since the hay bales are all going to be square, is the mower stopped? I might need to go and check on the things. But yeah, get a release of the Mogul. That would be a fine addition to what I want. Now I don't need it because I do have already two general traffic projects plus 2 working recent release models. So I don't really need them, but unfortunately the projects may be a ways off getting done. Okay, I want to look at grass silage. Okay, nobody's got good grass silage. Bale market low, exports is high, biogas doesn't give the things. And then the other thing I probably want to check is hay. Also not. So what is, there it is. Bales market is wanting conditioned grass. Sorry, not going to have much of that. So we'll take these down to the selling point. That should be transport mode. But yeah, so this week I put in 2 more pre-release or pre-orders. Unfortunately, my passenger cars were scheduled for release in February, and they're doing 6 different sets based on livery or of the era. So throughout the life of these passenger cars, they had at least 6 different paint schemes. Now again, I'm modelling a specific time, so I am looking at a specific set. I want set 5. They bought out set 1, 4 and 6, I think it was. So that was the first batch, and then the second batch is 2, 3 and 7, whatever it is. So not an issue. I was happy. The first 3 batches were supposed to release in November, with the second 3 in February. So beginning of February I put in a pre-order so that I stood reasonable chance of getting them. Except the first 3 sets came out at the end of February, so literally a week and a half ago. And I'm guessing the set I want isn't going to come out till June. So this is a major pre-order, like 5 months ahead of when the delivery is supposed to happen. Which, unfortunate, but okay. The locomotive I'm buying is one of the small switchers, is not going to be released until 3rd quarter of this year. So, what would it be, July, August, September sort of time. So I did put in a pre-release for that because I think the pre-orders closed 2 days ago. And then I put in a pre-release for a bunch of freight cars, which also I don't believe are due to release until the summer. But good chance of getting them because I put in the pre-order. Okay, you can sit there. I think I need to find mower first. Hi mower. Let's figure out what button I want to press. Close that, and let me go cut the edges. So yeah, I ordered a batch of freight cars, which I might actually have missed the pre-order date, but if I'm lucky, the retailer I use has a bunch of cars on the shelf. The thing is with this particular manufacturer, they'll produce a vehicle, but when it comes to freight, they produce usually 3 for each livery era, each with different numbers. So it may be that I'm ordering 3 service yard coal cars, and they might not end up having the one I want or one of the ones I want, but there are 2 to 3 other options that I could say, oh well, if you don't have that particular model, I'm not actually that desperate for that one, but if you've got one of the other 2 in that livery and era, I'll take those. I can also take stuff from an earlier era, because with freight cars they didn't repaint them immediately when they changed the corporate livery. So we'll see how that turns out. But as I said, so I've got, I think it's something like 8 freight cars on order. A switcher and a large suburban passenger train, which fits with everything I'm doing. Okay, we did that one. Let's lift that off the ground. I think I've got a row along the bottom here to do. Maybe I did it. Well, that looks all done. Okay, fold that up. So yeah, things aren't